Greetings. We are still looking at employment communication. Previous video in position to look at the introduction to the interview process, and now in this video we are going to look at the tips for performing your best in an interview process. So one thing you need to note is that being called for an interview can be exciting, but also cause for nervousness. So these tips aim to help you avoid any typical missteps and to help you enjoy a smooth interview process. So these tips include practicing your introduction, making research, preparing your answers, checking your social media, arriving early, dressing professionally, bringing necessary materials, and then asking questions at the end of the interview, and finally sending a thank you note. So let's get started immediately. So practice your introduction. So as you're going for an interview, in your preparation you can practice your introduction, like how do you introduce yourself, because it's not just a matter of saying your name, I'm Jeremiah. No, the introduction, like you start your interview off well by practicing your elevator pitch. So your introduction is your elevator pitch. So like 2 minutes or like 2 minutes overview of your skills, goals, and what value you bring to the company. So let's make up your introduction, like an overview of your skills, goals, and what you will bring to the company. So it is useful sometimes to make, so like you can make a video, like you record yourself giving this speech so that you can play it back and correct any mistakes, gestures, or eye contact problems. So making a video is useful in a way that it helps you to study your posture, eye contact. So assuming that your camera, the lens of like your camera is the or represents the eyes of the interviewer, so you try to practice that. And then the other thing is make research. Just like I mentioned earlier, you are expected to be well versed in the basic specifications of the company before you arrive for an interview. So you should have some prior knowledge about the company, like knowing only that it is knowing the name of the company and what it does only is not enough. You get, it is like, let's say, going to ask for maybe for an interview in Prudential, and then I don't know anything about Prudential apart from knowing that it is an insurance company, and then they offer insurance, and that's all. So it's not enough. So someone will ask you, of all insurance companies, why have you chosen Prudential? And then you'll be there, you don't know what to say because you don't know about the company, you don't know about like you don't know anything about them. But if you know something about them, at least you can use that to contrast them with other companies. So something like that. So take time to thoroughly peruse through the company's website. Additionally, if you know who will be interviewing you, then you read their bio on the company's website to get an idea of the type of person you will be speaking to. Then the other thing is prepare your answers. Like while you don't know exactly what will be asked in the interview, you can still prepare great answers to common questions in advance and have anecdotes ready to discuss that are relevant to the skills required for the job position. So this is commonly a great way to answer questions along the lines of identifying your weaknesses and how you're improving on them. So in the future time, we are going to look at the common questions asked normally during an interview, such that you can have a glimpse, and we shall look at the possible responses to those answers. So it is good that you go for an interview when you have those questions and the answers, when you've gone through them in your preparation, such that when they give you the question, you can answer it without hesitation and without any fear. So the other thing is check your social media. So your social media account, so anything pertaining to your online presence, should only consist of information that you're comfortable with the potential employer knowing, like potential employers will like look at your accounts during the selection process. So that's why it is good when as you're interacting on social media, don't don't over don't over, I don't know how to call it, but sometimes go like as you're interacting on social media, just know that anything on social media reflects who you are. So if you just post anything, you post any pictures of yourself, if you're this kind of lady that goes on to post their half naked pictures, an employer will not recruit you if they find such in your um, social media pages. So be careful as you're posting, knowing that at one time it can be to a disadvantage or advantage. Then the other thing is arrive early. So you should plan to arrive 15 minutes early for an interview to give an impression that you're professional and serious about the job. If you arrive more than 15 minutes earlier, then you can wait somewhere and then you come in somewhere nearby, and then you come in before or like when they're just 15 minutes to the interview time. Then obviously dress professionally. Like while many workplaces have a casual dress code, you should aim to dress one step up from a typical workplace casual dress code. Like how you present yourself illustrates your desire for the role as well as your professionalism. Like for example, imagine they invite two people to a job for a job interview, and then one comes when they are dressed gently with even a tie, or if not a tie, a coat. You know these days they sell those coats without the trousers, so you can put on a coat on your gentle wear. You get, and then someone comes like that, and another one comes in a jean and a t-shirt. No, this person is taken more serious, like they're professional. So then the other thing is carry necessary materials. You know you're going for an interview, carry all that is needed. Like it is a good idea to have a list of what you want to tell the interviewer as well as what you want to ask them in front of you. So in case your nerves cause you to forget things you've prepared, then it is helpful to have a notepad ready to take notes, and you should bring extra copies of your resume, cover letter, any other document to give the interviewer, and then you also remain with what to refer to during the process. Like you give one copy to the interview and then you remain with a copy for reference during the process. And then during the interview, if you realize there are certain things she has talked about or he that are not clear, you can note down such that you bring them at the end as your questions, because sometimes you may be nervous and then you forget what you wanted to ask about, so take note. Then the other thing, ask questions at the end of the interview. It is very important. So when the interviewer asks if you have questions for them, make sure that you do. Generally it is a good idea to have a list of some good number of thoughtful questions ready. So be sure that your questions don't ask something that is obvious, or you can anyway not obvious, but something you can just easily find on the company's website. So don't ask something that you can find on the company's website. And then avoid asking about salary and benefits, as this is something that should be addressed by the interviewer first and not you. So we may be wondering what kind of questions you may ask. So those questions will depend on what you want to know about the company. Like what would you like to know about the environment you're going to work in? You get things like that. Though, let me give you some to have an idea of the questions you can ask. So you can ask maybe, what can you tell me about the corporate culture of your company? Or you can ask, how does the department or role I would be working in fit into the organization's overall structure? And then are there specific projects I would be jumping into upon starting? Or what are the steps next in the interview process, and how would you like to be contacted for follow-up? Like you may wish to follow up having left the interview, then you would like to follow up to know what's up. So you ask them what is the next step, and then how would you like to be contacted? Like, is it by email, by phone? You get things like that. And then finally, send a thank you note. Like send a thank you note, maybe by email. You get, like, you send it to the interviewer within maybe 24 hours of the interview. Like after the interview, you send that thank you note. So keep it simple, expressing gratitude for the interview and happiness at meeting them. So this is just one way of getting the interviewer's attention and to keep them thinking about you. You get, so you thanked them at the end of the presentation, but if there is a chance that you have an email you can send to them a thank you note, then it is like they'll be thinking of you, and they will take you to be like uh, to be enthusiastic about the job. So send one at least to each person in attendance at the interview. Like if it will send people that attended the interview, like if it was an interview by the more than one interviewer, you get. So this keeps you all your qualifications and enthusiasm for the job at the forefront of their minds as they continue to consider candidates. Like they'll be like, wow, he has sent me a thank you note. You get, like you, if you assume you are the one interviewing, and then someone sent you um, a thank you note after they left, after the interview, maybe in the evening. So just look to see their thank you note. You get, there is that impact it makes, like it creates a connection. So this person will, they will think of you as among the people they will be wanting to employ. Otherwise, that's all about those tips. We shall be continuing to look at this interview process. It entails a lot of stuff, and I'm sure by the end of this you will be just ready to rock any interview that will come your way. And practicing these things we're going to look at will make you at least it will put you somewhere compared to other job seekers. Yeah. Otherwise, thank you. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, subscribe and like if it has been helpful. God bless you.